So, what if the real key to unlocking our solar system wasn't about building a better rocket, but about building a factory on the moon? In a recent late-night chat, Elon Musk just kind of dropped this idea that is so big, it completely reframes our future in space. We're talking about transforming other worlds into industrial powerhouses. Okay, let's just stop and think about that number for a second. 1 billion tons every single year. I mean, that's not just a big number, that is a civilization-altering amount of stuff. To put that in perspective, that's like launching 10,000 aircraft carriers into space annually. The scale is it's almost impossible to wrap your head around, and it's the absolute key to this whole vision. It's a staggering number, for sure, but why the moon, right? Why not just launch all this stuff from Earth? Well, the answer to that question gets right to the heart of the one massive bottleneck that's been holding back our future in space. To really get the logic behind a lunar factory, we have to talk about the single biggest enemy in space exploration, good old Earth's gravity. And that's the whole problem right there, gravity. Think of it like this. Earth is at the bottom of a really, really deep gravity well. And the stronger the gravity, the deeper the well, which means the more energy you have to burn just to climb out. It's this powerful pull that makes every single kilogram we send to orbit an incredibly expensive, brutal fight against physics. Now, this is where it all clicks. Escaping Earth is like trying to climb out of a deep canyon. It takes a tremendous amount of effort. But launching from the moon, with its tiny gravity, that's more like stepping off a small hill. The energy savings are they're immense. So, you see how this completely flips the script. The moon stops being just a place for flags and footprints. In this new vision, it becomes a launch pad. It becomes an industrial factory. And according to Musk, this factory wouldn't be building super complex things like rovers or habitats. No, it would be focused on making the heaviest, most basic stuff needed for a space-based infrastructure, things like solar cells and radiators. So here's the logic, and it's actually really elegant. Why on earth would you waste massive amounts of fuel hauling heavy, simple materials out of our deep gravity well? The plan is way smarter. You mine the raw materials on the moon, build the heavy stuff like solar panels right there, and then you only ship the light, complex components, like the computer chips, from Earth. Okay, so we've got the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. What are the key pieces of tech we'd actually need to make a lunar industry happen? It really comes down to a 3-step process. First, you deliver. Use a ship like Starship to land a factory in a box, basically a starter kit. Second, you build. You use that kit to start mining lunar resources and manufacturing those heavy components. And finally, the real game changer. You launch. You literally shoot those goods into space. And that launch, it doesn't use a regular rocket. This is where a piece of technology pretty much straight out of science fiction comes into play. The mass driver. As you can see, it's basically a giant electromagnetic catapult. Instead of using chemical propulsion, it uses a really long magnetic track to accelerate a payload to incredible speeds. But Musk, in his classic way, put it a lot more simply. It's a giant electromagnetic railgun for space. Forget chemical explosions for thrust. You just use powerful magnets to fling things right off the lunar surface and into orbit. So why? Why go to all this trouble? Because the lunar factory itself isn't the end goal. It's the engine. It's the tool that we would use to build something truly massive on a solar system-wide scale. And that something bigger is what Musk called a sty swarm. Yeah, it's a bit of an unusual name, but the concept behind it is revolutionary. Imagine a massive, self-sustaining fleet of AI-powered satellites orbiting the sun, all built with materials launched super efficiently from the moon. So what's the whole point of the swarm? Well, get this, to create an unbelievable amount of computational power. We are talking about 100 terawatts of AI compute. To even try and wrap your head around that, that's thousands of times more powerful than all of the world's biggest supercomputers combined, dedicated entirely to AI. It's a truly astronomical number. So in the end, that moon factory is really a key. It's the key that unlocks a whole new scale of what we can do in space. It makes the AI swarm possible, and that swarm could fundamentally change humanity's access to energy and intelligence forever. Look, it is an incredibly audacious plan, no doubt about it. It's filled with enormous technical hurdles. But it really makes you wonder, beyond all the sci-fi, are we looking at the first real blueprint for turning our entire solar system into an engine for civilization?